Hey guys, it's Nicole, and tonight I have a very special guest. We have AJ here. Hi, AJ.
How are you guys doing? Thank you guys for all tuning in and checking me out. I appreciate it.
I'm super excited to have AJ on tonight because he sells a lot of things that I don't sell. I think he mainly focuses on more like streetwear and the younger crowd, and like he was just telling me, shirts with holes in them that sell for $1,000. So things that we might all be passing up at the thrift store.
I definitely focus on a lot of different things. I will sell anything I can make a dollar off of, honestly. If I pass something to the thrift store, like any name brand that I know I can make money on, I'll always grab it. But I do like to focus on like the stuff that I know people that my age like enjoy now, like the streetwear and like the vintage clothing and sometimes the obnoxious stuff that always sells. So I like to focus on definitely the vintage market for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome, because I'm horrible at that market. And I've personally wanted to get better at it recently because I know that I'm missing a lot of things, especially being in the city where I am. So I'm really excited to have you here.
Yeah,
And how?
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm just gonna say, how can people find you?
Instagram, you can follow me on Instagram at PickingVintage. That's my Instagram handle. My name's AJ Finor. If you ever have a question, you want to add me on Facebook, I guess you can shoot me a message there as well. But Instagram is such an easy way for people to find me, and there's so many different people on Instagram that you can learn from. It's just such a great source. I feel like if you're not on Instagram, you're missing out because it really is just an awesome resource. I've learned so much from you on your Instagram. Like the other day when I picked up that Dryest Van Noten or whatever, you saw it and you were like, that thing is sweet. And I didn't even know anything about that. I very rarely look through like the women's clothing, but if it's like a fresh rack, I always like, look at everything that's on the fresh rack on the floor. And I just saw that and I felt it. And I was like, this thing just feels nice. So that's a lot of times how I figure out if something's valuable, just by the feel of it.
That's why people are always like, why don't you wear gloves? And I'm like, I can't wear gloves because then I wouldn't be able to tell it was expensive.
I'm not gonna lie, I always give people a hard time if they show up to the bins with gloves. It's kind of one of my things.
We have Bonafide Hustler in the chat. We have a lot of great people in the chat already. There's 127 people here. So hi, everybody.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
Oh, yeah, this is exciting. Okay, so do you want to tell people how you got started?
Yeah, I got started in the business of reselling actually just because I was working full-time at an auction house in Richmond. I worked there for 2.5 years, and a lot of people that were coming into the auction were, doing some buying and selling. And at the end of the night, I mean, our sales would go so late. They'd go till like 2 and 2:30 in the morning. Actually, I started buying some furniture, and I got a storage unit. I was keeping stuff in my storage unit, a bunch of cheap furniture. And I was bringing it to the flea market on the weekends, and we were selling, and we were making like $600-700 on my one weekend off. And so we started doing that, and then I started picking up some like box lots with like cheap little knickknacks and stuff like that in them. And then I started selling that stuff online and like eBay, and some of my friends would buy little knickknacks, and just kind of escalated from there. And then I guess it's been a year that the auction house actually went out of business. They got an offer on it from another like furniture store, like a American Freight or whatever, bought the building. So I was just like, I'm going to try to pursue this full time, and I've been enjoying it. So it's been working out well for me. And like I said, I have kind of a different market a little bit. I try to shoot for a little bit of like things that a lot of other people pass up at thrift stores. Sometimes I'm excited to find, so that's pretty much how I got into it, just via the auction, and then seeing how much money other people were making doing buying and selling online just kind of intrigued me. So that's pretty much how I got into it, though.
And I think you're my youngest guest ever. You're 24, so you went full time at.
You're dating me. I'm 23. I'm 23.
Oh, you're 23. Oh my gosh, I thought you were 24. See?
23.
So
I am a young. Yeah, I think this is my first time on YouTube too, so I hope I don't sound nervous, but I'm not too nervous. I'm just kind of like, you're popping my YouTube virgin, like my bubble or whatever right now.
Oh, this is a good question. Bonafide Hustler wants to know, what was the item that got you hooked?
That's a good question. I'll tell you the God's honest truth. About 10 months ago, I walked into a thrift store and I found 28 new in-box Redline Hot Wheels from '69, the second year they were ever made, and I made $4,500 on them. That was probably the first time that I really was like, this is something I want to do. And then before that, I had found 2 brand new Tags barber jackets for $19 a piece. I think I ended up making like $389. They were the wax ones, the bed dales and those. I think I made like $389 a piece on those. So those are the 2 items that definitely like cemented in my brain that I was like definitely going to try and do this. But the Redline Hot Wheels stick out over any other find.
How did you know to buy those?
Well, I knew about the Redline Hot Wheel thing for a while because I was in like the antique and like the auction business. So like I knew that the Redline Hot Wheels were a thing. And then when I saw these that they were new in box, I wasn't really thinking like it like took for a minute for me to connect because I know they've reproduced a bunch of them so many times. And I started looking at the cardboard and like the old store tags, and I was like, these are old. Like these are definitely old. So I got them for $1.25 a piece, and I think the cheapest one sold for like $124 or something like that. They'd ranged in prices, but it was my best haul ever, without a doubt. I have a picture way back on my Instagram. There was Johnny Lightning cars, and then there was Hot Wheel red lines, and they were all brand new.
And did you auction those, or do you buy it now on those?
I auctioned those. Looking back on it now, I kind of wish I would have. Bought it now, but I just knew that what I had was pretty rare, and I wanted to see. I didn't know the exact price point of what I wanted. You know, I got online and looked at some like the Hot Wheel buy-in guides and stuff, so I knew about what they were worth, but I wasn't 100% sure, so I went with auctions. But looking back on it now, I kind of wish I would have kept some and just priced them crazy high for buy it now. When Christmas time came around and someone wanted a killer gift for their husband that collected Hot Wheels, they probably would have paid up more, but it is what it is. I made my money, and it was quick money, so
you
I
made
was happy about it.
$2,500 at 20. Were you 22 still?
Yeah, I was 20. I think I was 22 then. Yeah, that was definitely a nice hit. That was probably my favorite find. Like I said, that's the one that sticks out in my mind. There's a couple others, but that's definitely the one that sticks out the most right now.
I gotta say hi to Evilos in the chat right now. My husband Joe recently told me that they have a connection from a whole different world, which is the gaming world, and Evilos makes these really cool like custom toys.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah,
so small, like little small like diecast toys or something, or what?
Yeah, he like toys for games basically. So like amiibos and things like that. He customizes them, and then they sell for like crazy money.
That's crazy. I know there's like Call. Have you ever heard of the brand Cause? I don't know if you ever heard of that. If you're like hip on that.
That is Joe's world.
Little, like, Cause, like they're called bear bricks, but some of them are worth like thousands of dollars, like collectors. It's kind of like an art piece. They're like Lego style. They're called like bear bricks, and they're worth seriously like insane money. I know you were talking about Sean, that guy earlier that owns around too. He collects them, and some of them do just ridiculous amounts of money. I don't think it'd be something that you thrift, but hey, I say that about everything, and then I end up finding it at the thrift store. So
yeah, you never know what you're gonna find at a thrift store.
You literally never know what you're gonna find at the thrift store. That's the best part about it.
Oh my gosh! So what are some of your favorite finds before? I mean, okay, so you have the things that made you a lot of money and got you hooked, but what have you found that like you just love?
Vintage t-shirts are definitely like my favorite thing. Since I'm in this business, I never have to wear like, dress shirts and stuff like that. So wearing like, the old Aladdin tees and stuff like that, that's just what I like. So I always, usually when I hit the thrift store, I just hit the t-shirt rack first just because I enjoy finding that stuff so much. My girlfriend found the, on the women's rack, actually, she found an old Biggie Smalls t-shirt, like the rap hip hop style. Like it was sold, like, all right, back in the day, these t-shirts were sold by like street vendors for like $5 and like $10 a piece, like 2 for $10 back in the day. But they're like single stitch. A lot of them are like made in the USA. If you're over looking for a t-shirt and it's older, on the sleeves a lot of time it'll have like single stitch. It'll be like horizontal, so you'll know if that t-shirt. And a lot of times a tag too. But a lot of people that collect, they always look for single stitch. It's like the horizontal.
So that's like a keyword that you would put in your title, and then a single. So instead of having like a double, how it's all double stitched,
exactly.
It's just a single one.
It's a single stitch. Yeah, that's something that a lot of like collectors look for when if there is no tag or something. That's another way to tell if it is an older t-shirt. So, but that t-shirt I found, or she found actually on a rack, and I like ended up getting to sell it. But that was $350 in 12 hours for a t-shirt. That's a pretty cool one,
Oh
that's another one that sticks out for sure.
We have Vogue Squared and Heart Pickers in the chat now. Vogue Squared is actually someone I follow on Instagram as well, and he does a lot of the same stuff that you're doing. Do you guys follow each other?
I don't know if I follow him or not. I may. I follow so many different people that I scroll down so much. Sometimes I forget who all I follow.
No, it's hard to like catch up. I'm really trying to follow all you guys that are doing streetwear now, though, because I'm really Joe has recently become full-time last week essentially on eBay with me, and he was like, I unfollowed all my tattoo Instagram people and I just followed all the streetwear people.
I'm a big fan of Joe. His shipping videos crack me up every time. So if I'm ever in a bad mood and I just want to laugh, I just watch a Joe State shipping video because it definitely gives me a good laugh every single time.
He needs to make more of them.
Yeah, if you don't watch those and you're watching this right now, you guys should definitely watch the Joe State shipping videos because they are honestly hilarious.
He's so out of control.
I just want to give a shout out to Heart Pickers on that stadium piece he found, though, that P-Wing 1992. That's a good find. I heard you talking about it last time. That's an awesome find, man.
Did you see someone on Instagram found one?
Which one? The P-Wing? Or
Yes.
there's the P-Wing, there's like the Snow Beach. That's like another one that's like a
She
polar.
found a P-Wing and she had no idea what it was, and she posted it. But this is why I love Instagram.
Yes, I did see that post. I did see that post. I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah, and she was like, should I get this? And I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah, I do know what you're talking about. Now, I've seen people too, like on like Poshmark and stuff like that. A lady posted like a polo shirt the other day, and I think she listed it for like $80 and ended up being like a really rare piece and it was worth like $600 to $800. So if you like, I know a lot of people that like follow like eBay and stuff and constantly refresh the page and buy stuff off of eBay and just resell it back on eBay and stuff like that. I don't have the time or the patience to sit and hit the refresh button all day long. I love to dig, but
yeah,
there's so many ways to make money, for sure.
So where do you dig at, essentially? Where do you like to go?
I like going to the outlet a lot. I mean, I'm definitely an outlet fan. I think anyone that does this loves going to the Goodwill outlet. I like getting my hands dirty and digging through big bins of hats. And cool, I sell a lot of hats. I'll be the first one to tell you, I sell tons of hats. I sold $400 worth of hats this weekend. So, like, yeah. I'll just start by that. I sold $400 worth of hats this weekend. Obviously, I've been listing a lot of ones I've been having saved up. But, I mean, it's nothing to sell $1,000 in hats in a month. Like, seriously.
Okay, what should we look for in hats? Help us out here.
All right. First, there's certain brands that are more sought after than others. I mean, you know, anything vintage, snapback style is always, you know, something to look for. But, I mean, even now, college kids are starting to wear the strap back dad hat styles. So even those are pretty good. There's certain brands, Starter, Sports Specialties, Logo Athletic. You know, those are some of the brands that are collectors that are really into like snapbacks and stuff like that are looking for. So that's something to look for. Wool, if it's wool, a lot of times that means it's older. So if you see wool or anything advertising, cigarette, alcohol, beer, you know, all that stuff sells really well. There's just a really big market for vintage hats that you'd be surprised what a piece someone like for me at the outlet too, they're a quarter. And I mean, it's nothing to get $16 to $25 for a hat. So it's like the profit margin is so huge on it. And you ship it for $260. And I guess now it's $277 with the shipping up or whatever, but it's $260 to ship. So it's just so easy
How do you ship your hats?
These boxes.
Oh, Joe loves those boxes, actually. Yeah, those are good boxes.
Yeah, just an 8x8 box. You stick the like. This is just some I have sitting by my desk right now that I just got the other day. Skull. This is like an old Florida Gators hat. I got to get these listed on Etsy, but it's got like the block.
So when you were buying them, how do you like condition-wise? If it has, I see a lot of hats have like rings in them and stuff.
All right. As far as condition goes, a lot of vintage collectors like. If they're looking for something particular, sometimes condition isn't everything. So like I was explaining to you earlier, like a lot of times condition does really help a lot. I mean, if you have a hat and it's brand new at tag, it's obviously going to do better than one that's got a sweat stain on the front. But I mean, a lot of times people that are collecting like vintage hats and stuff like that, condition isn't going to a lot of times stop them from buying it, especially if the price point is right. So I wouldn't say steer away from hats if they look like they've been worn, because a lot of times too, you can wash them and clean them. I mean, there's so many different ways to clean and reshape hats and so many different ways, videos of YouTube on how to do it. But I mean, you can clean and reshape hats with hairspray, starch, you know, I mean, there's tons of ways. But yeah, I sell a lot of hats.
Do you spend a lot of time cleaning them, or do you just kind of do as is and go about your day?
All right, I think my Goodwill bins is like the only Goodwill in the area that it's the only Goodwill bin I've ever been to that does this. But we get pallets full of hats at one time, and they come out like 3 times a week. So like when I get hats, it would be nothing for me to get like 40, 30 good ones in a day. Like, because they come out on a pallet, bring out on a pallet jack, and they set it on the floor, and it's like something I like. I'm not gonna lie, I've dove into a box before for a hat. I saw a Raiders.
Are they like the big brown ones that like?
I saw a Raiders script one time sitting in the bin, just a Los Angeles Raiders script hat, and I found like 3 or 4 in my life. But I saw one there, and everyone was digging. I just dove in right for it because I knew it was going to be like a $100 bill. You know, that's what they normally sell for. Those Raider scripts are like $100. So, but yeah, we get so many hats at my outlet. It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, somebody said get a hat reshaper. You just need to soak it, and you put it around the reshaper.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, we don't have things like, we just only have the blue bins, and they will bring out the hats with the purses and the belts and the ties, and it's like all the accessories come out together.
Yeah, well, see, all right, the purses and like the shoes, and that's like the biggest market at like My Good Old Outlet. Like they go crazy when the shoes come out. They do those in the totes, and I don't know if they pull the sheets at yours. Do they do that? Do they
Um,
cover them and then pull the
no.
sheet? Okay, see, at mine, the shoes, they make everyone stand back, like when they bring out the new shoes. And like everyone stands back, and then they put the sheet over the, like, so no one can see what's in each one. And then they like get each like employee around it, and they pull the sheet off of the, so you, like, it's like a madhouse. And there's like an underground ring where they like sell shoes and like ship them everywhere. Like people stand in the outlet all day and like get shoes and then sell them to like specific people that are there and make their money all day by just selling shoes to people that are there. It's weird. It's definitely weird.
Okay, that doesn't happen at mine. Ours is just they just roll them all out, and an employee will stand by the shoes because the shoes can get competitive. But like, mine has got to be like one of the most laid back Goodwills, because I know you're talking about with like the sheets and like the crazy, like everyone is like running. They let you just like stand right next to the bins, and you just have to wait until all 8 are out essentially.
You're so lucky too, because you're near Nike's headquarters, so you get so many cool Nike products that I don't see. I'm super jealous of that. That Sharapova, whatever happened with that Sharapova thing? I don't know if I ever caught up on that or.
I sold it to a follower. I ended with 2 of them essentially. And
you found one at the store though, and one at the bins, right?
Yeah. So the one at the store, it got bid up. All this crazy stuff happened, and so I went through and I just looked at like the bids. And I didn't take like the highest one. What I did was I just went through and I saw that this person had been buying from me consistently. They had really good feedback. So I sent them a second chance offer, and it was for like $350, I think, something around there. And they were like, "Are you sure you're okay with taking this amount?" Like, and I was like, "Yeah, like I paid what, like $10 for this dress. I'm happy." You know, they're like, "I follow you on YouTube. Like, I know the whole story. I really want to buy it, but I also don't want to like cheat you out of money. I can't afford to pay any more than this."
Yeah, it was like the Sharapova like prototype or whatever. That was a killer find. I was super jealous of that. That was
yeah,
awesome
and then I found the oh gosh, what is her name? Like the most famous tennis player. I found one of her dresses and I showed it on a haul, and I sold it during the haul. So that was super cool.
Crystal Pepsi and Aladdin shirt. He is 1991. That made me laugh. That was a good comment. My girlfriend saw these in the store the other day, and she was like, "We have to have these." I was
She
like,
brought home a bunch of those the other day, and he was like, "Look, I got Crystal Pepsi." And
one of my buddies that resells is keeping a bunch of cases in his garage right now because he's hoping like one day the price on it's going to go up a bunch. So I guess we'll see how that works.
That's so fun. Yeah, Joe brought a bunch of them home the other day. He was so proud of himself. Look, I got this Crystal Pepsi. You know, he thinks it was funny.
I have to like switch back and forth to read the comments, so I'm trying to keep up with what you guys are saying here.
Yeah, it can be hard to keep up. Okay, so when you're looking, people are asking about like Etsy versus eBay. Can you break that down a little bit for us?
Okay. I'm making that switch right now. I actually started an Etsy store for my girlfriend originally, and I saw how successful. I was just giving her stuff to list because she's going to school right now and working. So I was just giving her stuff to list, and she would work on it and sell stuff on Etsy. She got like 300 sales really quick on Etsy. So I was like, I'm going to start, because I was originally selling all my vintage on eBay. It was just an easy route for me, and I was so used to the platform, and I was like, I'm just going to do everything on eBay. But I think when like people that shop on eBay, in my opinion, are looking for more of like a deal. But when like people that like shop on Etsy, they're just looking for like specifics. And like when they see something that they want, I feel like they're more likely to pay money. Like if they're like looking for that specific item and they find it on Etsy, they're more likely to buy. And plus the thing about Etsy is that it's 20 cents per listing. But then when you sell something, it's only 3.5%. So you're like, you don't get near the amount of fees that you catch with like eBay and PayPal when you sell something. So I'm making the switch right now. I think I had like 20 sales on Etsy this weekend. So like I was pretty happy for a new store that I just started to get like 20 sales on Etsy. I mean, for my first weekend trying it and everything, I haven't had the exposure. And like Etsy is one of those things too where you can like gain followers, and like once someone like follows your shop, like, and you update it, they constantly get your new updates. So there's people that have like tons of followers on Etsy, and their stuff sells so much better. Just like you were saying, you get more exposure with Instagram and YouTube, and same way on Etsy. Once you build up a following, I feel like stuff sells better too. So I'm hoping I can build somewhat of a better following, but we'll see.
Yeah, once you kind of make like a brand for yourself, I've been doing all this like crazy testing. I'll talk about that like more in depth. But I've been running some ads on my items to drive traffic to my store. So I've been running some Instagram ads, and Instagram ads are so cheap, like so cheap. It's like I spend $5 and I reach like 2,000 people.
Really?
Yeah, and so I've been running ads on specific items in my store just to see if I can increase traffic. And it's incredible how little money you have to spend to increase traffic to your store.
I've never tried the Instagram ad. That's a pretty good idea, though.
I feel like it's definitely, so there's a guy on Instagram called Travel and Thrift, and he
I know Travel and Thrift, of course.
yeah, everyone knows Travel and Thrift, right? And so he made a comment the other day that like really stuck with me, and it was like, don't wait for your customers to come to you, go out and find your customers. And I was like, dang, he's right. Like, so all these other companies, they pay, you know, to run ads to get customers into their store. Just because I have an eBay store and I'm selling used items doesn't mean that I shouldn't be trying to drive traffic to my store. So I just kind of did what the other guys are doing, you know, like I just started running some ads, and it's been really successful. So I'm going to go like way into detail on that in another video, but that's definitely something to think about.
Travel and Thrift and you have both been like selling some stuff on Instagram. I try to do the same thing. If I get something and I want to sell it, a lot of times if I post a picture in the thrift store, like I have a bunch of hats that I found in a bin, I'll just post it right there, and you know, I'll get messages right then, and I'll be able to sell some right there through my Instagram, and I'll take like a friends and family payment. I don't have to deal with everything like that. And that's convenient too. That's another thing I really like about Instagram is it drives a lot of sales. I don't have to post anything. I'll just send a couple pictures right there, snap 3 or 4 pictures, and someone will purchase it right there on Instagram. So
yeah, I have people who follow me because they like to learn, and then I have people who follow me because they like to buy. And I feel like I've been running sales, and I used to feel really guilty about it. I used to be like, oh, this is bad. Like, I'm not trying to sell anything to anyone, but I would always get requests. So I started running sales. And then I realized that like it also teaches people, like people are seeing exactly what brands I'm buying and how much I'm selling it for. And it's not a bad thing. You know, I'm still doing my regular business on there. And now I'm just like adding some sales in every once in a while.
People are asking what I sell a hat for. I mean, it really depends on what the hat is. You know, but a hat like this, like the Florida Gators, like the color block with the stitching in the back, and it's pretty clean. I think something like this, $25, I'll end up getting $23.99 for that hat because the way it is. I mean, this is a more expensive hat. I should end up getting like $40 for this. It's a little more rare. It's just different. People love Red Man, and tobacco sells so well. It's crazy.
Well, it's like that Americana, like
vintage Levi stuff. I don't know if you saw the denim Levi hat I found a while back. It had the big leather Levi patch on it.
I don't think I saw it.
The market in like Japan and Indonesia for vintage Levi is insane. I mean, you find Big E salvage denim Levi, it's $1,000, you know, or that hat I got $130 for. So
yeah, there is a guy who flies out from Japan to my bins once a month, and he stays for like 3 or 4 days, and he buys things from people who are like the regulars. And then he shops himself for 3 or 4 days, and then he containers it all back home to his shop.
That's crazy. I went to Orlando to pick up my girlfriend. She flew into Peru, into Orlando, and I went down to the Orlando bins. They were so crazy. Like, it was hectic there, but it was great stuff. I mean, as far as vintage goes, they were bringing out so much more vintage than I feel like I find at my bins. So it varies by location too. Like Guess, I don't know if you've seen the Guess stripe tees. You've seen how hot those are, like selling. You've seen those?
No, I just sold a pair of Guess jeans though. I got like these old 90s Guess jeans. They were totally destroyed too, like destroyed, high-waisted. And I got them at the bins, and they sold within like an hour. I probably priced them too low. I sold them for $25, but they were like gone.
Yeah, the Guess stripe tees right now, it just says Guess jeans across the front, like embroidered, and it's striped. They're doing $130 right now on the low end.
I feel like this is stuff I see all the time because no one else. I just think it's junk, you know?
It has that Guess tag in it in the back of it says George Mariano. And the stripe ones are Sean, that guy, he kind of made those really popular. ASAP Rocky did a collaboration with Guess. So they like brought back the Guess jeans thing, but at the end it's $2 instead of 2 S's. And those were really hot. So now people are looking for the vintage like striped ones. It's crazy.
Where someone's asking where you're from.
Virginia, Richmond, Virginia.
And okay, so before the show started, you told me like you are very close to the round 2 guys, or you the shop.
I don't sell stuff to round two as much anymore just because I like to sell my own stuff online, and I know I can sell my stuff via Etsy and eBay and make more money. But round two has definitely created a vintage culture. If you're not following the owner on Instagram and you're into selling, you should definitely follow him. He creates trends pretty much now. He's that popular. He's gone Hollywood, but you should definitely follow him on Instagram because he keeps you posted on the trends. Like you were talking about the Champion stuff the other day, the reverse weave sweatshirts. He pretty much started that trend like in Hollywood, and it's just kind of came around now just because people are so into the vintage Champion stuff. It's just crazy how it works. But he like starts trends kind of, and what he does, other people are into. So if you don't follow him on Instagram, you definitely should because he will kind of give you an idea of what to look for in the thrift store.
Joe is totally like on trend with that stuff, and he's like, yeah, Sean is like, you know, one of the biggest trendsetters. Like he's always followed him or whatever. And Joe like pays a lot of attention to like trending things. He always has, and he's always like worn things before they were popular, and I've always been like mad about it. Like, how do you know this? You know?
Saw that that hardcore shirt I found that we were talking about that one time that had all those different logos on it, and you actually provided me the best source of that. That guy knew exactly what that was. That Justin
Justin knows more about. If you guys ever find like hardcore, there's a scene called hardcore. It's like a music like
the X swatch and stuff. I know that's a big thing. Like,
oh, if you ever find a swatch that has an X on it, huge amount. He has one, of course. Like that guy, and that guy is. I like talking to him because he's a buyer, not a seller. He doesn't sell any of his stuff. Like
ceremonial. People, if they give you their X swatch, it's like they're like going out of the street. Is that how that works or something? I don't know if I'm right on that.
Oh, okay. So when an X is like your straight edge. I'm straight edge myself, so I don't do any drugs. I don't drink. I'm vegan. Like there's like this whole culture, right, to be straight edge. And so Justin is straight edge, and so that's why you'll see people with like X tattoos on their hands or like 3 X's tattooed on them somewhere. That's like your straight edge. So you live like a very clean lifestyle. Like you're not promiscuous. You don't drink. You don't do drugs. You don't do any of the stuff that you usually would find within like a alternative music scene. So those guys, they love their merch. Like the shirt you found. How much did you sell that shirt for?
All right, see, that shirt was kind of weird because that was like a test print shirt. They were printing a bunch of different, like back in the day, there's a bunch of different logos they were working with, and instead of wasting more than one shirt, they were just trying different prints on that single shirt. So there was like 10 different prints on that one shirt. I had it listed for a while. I paid $3 for it. I ended up taking $60 for it. It wasn't anything too crazy. I was hoping, I like when I posted it on Instagram, I was thinking it was another $100 shirt because I just couldn't find anything like it. But I guess it kind of threw people off a little bit because of that it wasn't a single design. Because it had designs from like 4 different years on it. So
yeah, if you would have had just a shirt with like one of the designs, it probably would have been $100 shirt.
It is. That's how it works. If it just had the one older design on it that it did have on it, but it was just on that shirt, it would have been $100 shirt. So it was still a good flip. I knew it was cool when I found it. Like it had an old Anita tag in it and a single stitch made in USA. So I knew it was a good shirt when I found it. I just didn't know exactly how much because I'm not familiar with the hardcore scene like a lot of other people are.
What is the most you've ever sold a t-shirt for?
The most I've ever sold t-shirt. The most I ever sold t-shirt for was the one my girlfriend found was $350. $359.99. That is the best t-shirt I've ever found and sold.
That is like the most I've ever sold anything for. That is so crazy for like a t-shirt, you know?
Yeah, shout out to Addie, my girlfriend. She did a really good job finding that one. I think she's typing in some of the comments.
Is she here? I'm trying to look over at the comments.
John Witherspoon is the owner of Round 2. Started in Richmond, Virginia. That is correct. Yeah.
Okay, so you used to sell to him. Was that like, did you ever just do that and not sell?
Yeah, I wish I could go back 3 years ago because he shouted me out on Instagram when he only had like 5,000 followers. I wish he would have shouted me out on Instagram now. But I sold stuff to him last week actually, or 2 weeks ago. Some like vintage Gucci GG print pants, like bootleg. I don't know if you're like the bootleg stuff does so well. Okay, it's fake, but have you seen the Gucci prints like back in the day? It's just screen printed on an old.
What is that guy? Joe tries to tell me all. You should be doing this interview with Joe because you guys would like be talking and like he would know what you were talking about. But there's a guy in New York who like sewed all the like Louis Vuitton and like. His stuff is crazy too. He's like known for basically making like he takes the fabric and then like makes designs out of it for all the like big hip hop guys in the 90s, you know?
Yeah, I've seen that. There's like a bunch of people too that repurpose old like purses and Louis Vuitton monogram print, Gucci print, and they put it on, a jacket or a pair of shoes, and they repurpose that and sell it for crazy money. But she asked what the T-shirt was. It was a vintage, like bootleg vendor sold in the street corner in like DC or like in Richmond, and it was a bootleg. It had a big print on it, Biggie's face, and it said something in bubble letters, and it was straight from the 90s, right after he had died, and it was a Biggie Smalls rest in peace shirt, $359.99 in 12 hours. That was a cool sale. I was standing in the outlet too, digging through. I have fresh hat bin when I heard the cha-ching, and I looked down at my phone. So it was like I had fresh hats in front of me. So I was digging through brand new hats, getting new hats for like to list, and I heard the cha-ching, and it was that shirt. So that was just a great moment.
Someone said, what time frame is back in the day exactly?
I guess back in the day, I was born in 93. So I guess back in the day, though, it's still in the 90s, 95.
So when you were a toddler?
Yeah, when I was a toddler. I was born in Delaware, actually.
That's so. Oh yeah, Dapper Dan. That's who I'm talking about.
Dapper Dan, yeah, that's bootleg. Yeah, that's bootleg stuff.
There's some really funny questions right now. Okay, so besides like T-shirts, what else, and hats? What else do you sell?
Like I said, I will sell anything I can make $1 off. If I'm flipping through a rack and I see like a Patagonia or like a pair of Cole jeans or a Robert Graham T-shirt, I'm obviously not leaving it because it's like leaving money on the rack. But I'll sell some used electronics. I was looking at some stuff I'm listing right now. I got some walkie-talkies in my hand. I was digging through these things all day today. I wonder if you guys ever heard of Quick Cuts. It's like a scrapbook making material thing. I was at a bin at Goodwill one time, and there was just a bunch of them in one bin, and I've been working all day on reorganizing these certain sets because they all have alphabets and certain ones that go to certain things, and it's just crazy. It took me I worked on it for like 3 hours a day reorganizing these stupid little things that people cut and use for scrapbooking, and it's crazy how much you have to learn about something in order to get it organized right. So I'm online researching. I feel like a scrapbooker. I'm online organizing like all these things, like looking at what sets go to which, and like because sometimes individual dies will sell for like $10. So that was my thing today. I was working on selling. But like I said, I will really sell anything I can make $1 off. If I stand out and wait for the fresh bins, and if I see something I can make money on, I'll sell it. But I enjoy finding vintage clothing, and that's my passion. So that's what I like to sell.
How often are you out thrifting?
Lately not as much, just because I've been trying to reorganize and take so many pictures. But if I could, I'd thrift every day, and that's what the problem was. Is I was thrifting every day, and I was having so much stuff backpiled that I needed to get listed. But 3 to 4 times a week, I'd say.
And do you go to the same bin every time, or are you going to like different bins?
I will drive up to Fredericksburg and go to their bins, but so usually I stay in Richmond, and I like the thrift stores around here too. There's certain areas, obviously, if you drive to, you get higher end stuff. So I'll usually stick to the bins. I like the bins because I know a lot of the people there and stuff like that. So I stick to the bins just because I've had so many great finds there, I guess, too, that it's hard not to go.
Yeah, the bins, it's hard once you're spending pennies for something to start spending more. Somebody's asking, does cross colors demand good cash?
Yeah, it does. Definitely. Cross color sells really well. I think that was a Spike Lee that promoted that back in the day. Like it's 40 Acres and a Mule, a Spike Lee joint. He was the one that originally got that, so you might want to tag Spike Lee in the title, but cross colors does really well. Some of their pieces, the Malcolm X stuff does really well. If it's cross colors, that couple hundred, but it just depends on what it is. Vintage Pendleton skirts go for. Vintage Pendleton skirts do okay. I guess it depends on what tartan it is and stuff. If you find out like what tartan it is and everything like that, and you figure out what pattern it is, some of those patterns are much better.
Yeah, I think so the Pendleton Mill is actually in Portland. And so I find a lot of vintage Pendleton, and like I personally pass a lot of it. It has to be like an old men's flannel, even if it's like if it has holes, I don't care. Like vintage flannels all day long.
Have you seen how they have holes in them so often too, just because they are the wool?
I've never found one without a hole, to be honest. I don't think I ever found a vintage Pendleton that doesn't have some sort of moth hole in it.
Yeah, the ones with the elbow patches too. If you ever find the Pendleton with the elbow patches on them, they do better. But Pendleton does really well in general, though.
Let's see here.
Can you show us some of the bold and crazy pieces of clothing you sell? I could dig through a bin behind me and probably dig out some stuff.
Okay, let's see it. I really want to see that, actually.
All right, let's see. All right, this is a Dan Marino sand knit jersey. It's got the old Wilson tag on it. It's just the first thing on top. Can you guys see that? I don't even know.
Kind of. So the old. Here, I'm gonna make
this is an old. Yeah, this is an old Wilson, or it's a sand knit. It's a McGregor sand knit. Actually, I don't know why I said Wilson. Yeah, it's a.
Hold it up a little. There you go.
Yeah.
So that sand knit tag means it's old.
Yeah, this is probably only good for about $30, but this is a Dan Marino. It's got the old stripes on it. This is something that'll do closer to $70. These are super hot right now though too. This is a women's just vintage made in like red lipstick leather jacket. You see it?
Yeah, I definitely see those at the bins all the time.
Yeah, these do really well. This isn't a Kuji, but I have like 4 of these in here right now. They still, if you see these and they're not Kuji, it doesn't really matter because they still $30, $40, even if it's not Kuji. The texture, I don't know if you can see the texture on that.
Is that like mercerized cotton or something?
Yeah, and it has. See, this isn't a Kuji. It's just it's made in Italy though.
And do you put like the brand name in the title still, or do you just kind of play on keywords?
I'll put Kuji style in my stuff just because I feel like that helps a lot. But I usually don't. This is a crazy shirt actually. I don't know if you guys can see this.
It says High Times on it. What is it?
This is 95 High Times promo tee.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
What are you gonna list that
at? This is probably. See, I had it listed on eBay for 30 and it didn't sell, so I'm gonna try again around there, I guess. I was trying to look for. This is like a 94. This is just I'm just grabbing from a random bin, but this is a 94 World Cup like USA soccer team jacket.
Is that Apex?
Yeah, this is Apex 1. This hat is actually Apex 2 that I was showing earlier.
I found I've sold quite a few Apex jackets, and the older ones always do really well. I've sold like a few of the pullovers, and
this is just sitting here, but these is like the season right now. But these satin jackets they're doing really well too. This has got the block lettering on the back. There's a big market for those as well. It's just random stuff I'm sitting around that I'm trying to work on getting listed because my life is always chaos. I have so many things laying around me that I'm trying to list. It's just, oh.
You need to get that red jacket listed because
I have the red jacket listed already.
Somebody's gonna come buy it that's watching this right now. People are like, "Oh my gosh."
That's a Bill Cosby for sure.
We have 300 people watching right now, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys in the chat have any questions, let's just open up the questions and get them answered for you guys.
I'll follow you on Instagram, Hazelheart Vintage. I'm sorry to hear about your flat tire. That sounded terrible. You were stuck there for like 3 hours, and I'm sorry to hear that because your daughter is so cute. I was like, I just hope they get saved.
Yeah, she is. I felt really, really bad for her today. And we chat on the side, so I don't think
I'm a full-time reseller. My numbers aren't as crazy as y'all, but I just saw yesterday I did 41,000 on eBay this year. So it's not as crazy as a lot of you guys that do like over 100, but I do sell full-time. It's my first year selling full-time though, and I sell on Amazon as well. When I first got into like selling, I bought the like PDA A-Seller tool scanner, and I was going to sell books a lot, but I just do not have the patience to sell tons of books and sit there and scan all day. So
I have like way too bad ADD to not be like digging and having fun with, like, that's why like the refreshing eBay and doing that over and over again isn't interesting to me. Like I need to be like digging and finding cool things. That's
the reason that I love this so much is that I never feel like I'm really working because I just love the thrill of the hunt so much that every day is, and I can learn so much too via other people. That's just so cool.
Do you have any staff, or is it just you?
It's just me. My girlfriend helps me out sometimes, but really it's just myself. Because she's going.
How do you organize your items?
I have a bunch of bins in the back. I have 2 racks over there that I keep stuff on. I have 2 closets in here too. This room is dedicated to just my stuff. So I try to keep it Etsy here, hats here, and I have 2 different hat bins. And my organization system is not that great, as I noted on Instagram the other day, that I'm working on my organization skills because that's not my strong point. It never has been. I'm just ADHD and just want to throw stuff everywhere. And if it's in chaos, I can find it better half the time. I don't know.
How? Oh my god. So yeah, somebody just said 41,000 at 23 is really good. Like that's something to be really proud of, because I think a lot of us resellers really wish that we got into this younger, you know?
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. That's the thing, is I've learned so much too, and this year I have so many more goals that I want to try to attain, you know. So hopefully, you know, it'll be nothing but growing from here. And that's what I'm, you know, and I do get a lot of other sales outside of just eBay, but I just saw yesterday that I did do 41 on eBay this year. So
what do you how many items do you have listed normally in your store?
Right now, okay, so right now I went through like before and I auctioned off a bunch of stuff that was sitting in my, so I think I'm at 110 on my eBay right now. I got 300 on my Etsy, or 260 on my Etsy right now. So right now I think I'm like 100 on eBay, 260 on Etsy. But before that I was huddling right around 300 on eBay because
that is really impressive. Like you only
have a mannequin head for my. I'll tell you a cool story about what I use for my hats. I found a bunch of old hat molds back in the day, like the antique millinery molds that they used in like France to like mold hats onto back in the day. And I have like one that's just like a dome of a head, so it's like a piece of wood, and that's what I take my hat pictures on. It looks pretty cool.
That's actually really cool. I love when you have unique pieces to do your photos with.
Yeah, the hats were a really cool find, actually. I got them at an auction, and they were just really cool, the way they were made and the craftsmanship that went into them. And I'm trying to read through some of these questions. Sorry if I'm pausing. I just have to flip back and forth.
No, I know it's moving really fast tonight too.
My name is AJ. I guess I'll answer that one. That one's a quick one. I just posted a link to my Etsy right here if you guys want to check out some of the stuff I currently have for sale. But like I said, I'm switching to that account now, trying to like be more active on Etsy. Do I think reselling will eventually die because everyone will be picking instead of buying? No, I don't think so.
Oh, you guys, it's not going to die. People, I get that all day, that I'm ruining the market.
People throw away too much good stuff all the time. People are so wasteful in the United States that I feel like we're always going to be getting good donations and good stuff to sell, that I don't feel like that will ever really happen.
How do you figure shipping costs?
Well, I've been weighing everything before I listed on Etsy now, so it does it automatically for me. I would offer a lot of free shipping before because a lot of stuff I sold was first class. So a lot of times if I could ship it first class, I wouldn't really worry about shipping costs as much, because if I can ship it for under $4 and I know I got it at the bins for really cheap, I'm not really that worried about shipping costs. I'll just kind of figure that into the cost of what I paid for the item. So, but now with Etsy, the cool thing about Etsy is I feel like people are more like prone to pay shipping too. So I'm just weighing my items and posting the weight on Etsy so that when I list them, it'll automatically charge them. Can we go over how he ships hats? I just ship them in the 8x8 boxes because they always fly. I always want to make sure they fly under 8 ounces because that's how you get a good deal. It's like $2.60 to ship a hat if it's under 8 ounces, but you always should ship hats in boxes. Always use boxes to ship hats. Always.
When I first started doing it, I shipped a hat not in a box. I'm echoing sound. And the person emailed me and was like, I'm not mad at you, but like, I think you're pretty new and you should really ship hats in boxes.
Yeah, hats always get boxes because collectors are so picky. If a hat's in good shape and you ship it in an envelope and then it gets there and it's all crushed, they're going to be mad, especially if it's a high dollar hat. I collected hats for a while, but then I kind of got out of it because I wasn't wearing any of them. I just had all these $50 bills sitting underneath my desk, and I was just like, yeah, I'm going to sell these because.
This is a good question. What is something you found that you haven't found that you want to find?
One of them is a guest stripe tee. I was talking about earlier. I have not found one yet. I don't know why. I think the reason that I haven't found one yet is because it was a West Coast thing, and I live on the East Coast, so they just weren't that popular on the East Coast. So it kind of varies by region. A lot of people on the West Coast find them all the time because they were so popular out there. They just weren't really an East Coast trend back in the 90s, so they're just not as common here. That's one I definitely want to find. A really good rock and roll t-shirt from the 70s is one I really want to find too. That's like my dream find.
I have a friend who lives out by you, and she goes to the bins and she finds old t-shirts all the time. And I'm always so shocked at what she can find out there.
I've definitely found some good ones, but I've never found like a 70s like AC/DC or like something really good that like will demand like $1,000 on eBay. I'm sure if you guys ever get bored and you want to look through how much some vintage t-shirts sell for on eBay, just type in vintage t-shirts and sold and refined by highest price first, and you'll be amazed what some collectors pay for some of these t-shirts. Harley Davidson, that's another one that there's certain, like if you ever find a Harley Davidson t-shirt that has a pig on it, they go for like 800.
I found a bunch of I found 4 Harley Davidson shirts the other day at the bin, and somebody I did a haul with them, and then somebody messaged me on eBay, and they were like, "Hey, follow you. Those shirts aren't worth much, but like, you know, I've sold over 800 Harley shirts. If you're watching right now, hi." And like he like, you know, told me like some details and stuff, and it's just so nice. That's what I love about having a community, you know?
That is really the cool thing. A 3D emblem, it'll literally, people ask me like what makes a shirt a 3D emblem. It'll literally say like 3D emblem on the bottom of the shirt, or the tag will, you know, have like a 3D emblem tag in it. It says 3D emblem on the tag, so it's really not hard to like see which one is a 3D emblem. They literally say 3D emblem on them, and those are the Harley shirts that demand the big bucks. That's the style that's collected. And a lot of trends that start over in like Japan and Thailand, they make their way to the United States. Well, right now, a lot of Japan buyers are just eating up the Harley Davidson stuff, the high-end stuff. It will pay outrageous prices for them. $1,000 I've seen Harley t-shirts go for. $1,500 I saw one sell the other day.
Joe follows all the he's really into like Southern rap music. And he follows all those guys and watches their videos, and they're always on trend. Those guys are always wearing what's popular before it gets like mainstream.
See, there's people. See, that's what I was talking about the other day. You could literally follow trends and watch it build. Like when the Guests first started getting hot, stuff was the Guest striped tees were doing like $50, and now they're all the way up in price to $130. So if you got in early enough and invested a bunch of money in Guest striped tees, you could have doubled your money overnight. I'm actually trying to follow that a little more. That's why I want a Worth Point account. So I'm trying to follow some trends in the vintage community and try and like get in early, like put some money here and then hopefully sell it. We'll see if I can get good deals on stuff. I'm like in some Facebook groups on online too that is like a vintage clothing. So sometimes there's people that aren't into selling on eBay will like give me good deals for stuff I can sell quickly on eBay. So that's always nice too.
Yeah, Joe's really into. He says the next big trend is going to be different colored camo. I'm like, all right. That's great. What is happening in the chat?
I got some Harley stuff from Jay Leno. Long story short, don't ask. I'm jealous, first of all. I wish I had Jay Leno's car collection, though. That'd be sweet.
Yeah, I know. How are you going to tell us that and then not give us any information about it? Okay, so you are.
Public Enemy 1990 T-shirt. Whoever found that, I'm super jealous.
What?
It says Public Enemy 1990 T-shirt was my best sale, $375. That's sweet. I'm jealous of that find.
He's in Seattle, which is not far from me at all.
That's what all the rappers and stuff are wearing right now, are those vintage public rap tees is what they call them. So if you ever have anything that looks like that, definitely use the keyword rap tee, because that's what everyone's looking for right now anyway.
We saw a vintage Garth Brooks shirt the other day, like a 90s Garth Brooks shirt, and Joe was so excited about it.
That's sweet, though. I don't sell at flea markets anymore, no. I buy at flea markets. I like to get there early and buy. That's originally actually how I met Sean. Is back in the day, he used to always be the first one at our Richmond flea market, and we used to walk around the flea market a little bit. Where do you get the 8x8 boxes? Well, right now, eBay is paying for my 8x8 boxes. So these have the eBay branding on them, but they gave me that coupon, and I know how many 8x8 boxes I use, so I just use that coupon to get some free ones. Do you think that's a big deal if I'm selling something on Etsy and it's in an eBay box? Do you think that's a big deal? Let me ask you guys that.
No, I mean, people try not to do it, but whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, they'd rather have it in a box than.
It's in a box, right? It doesn't have eBay on it. It's sold on Etsy. I just didn't. Some people are so picky and weird about that stuff that I'm just like, I don't know if that's a big deal or.
I think that you're all right. I think it's not a big deal. Yeah, Hazel Heart's vintage says it's not a big deal. Okay, so what are your future plans here?
I really just want to, like, this year, really one of my goals is to try to build a following on Etsy. I really want to try to get better at that market and use Etsy more just because the fees are lower. And like I said, I feel like people pay more money on Etsy for stuff. So I want to try to create an Etsy store with around 1,000 or so items in it is really my goal right now. I want to create a pretty large Etsy store and see if I can gain a following and have some people that, you know, follow me on Etsy. And every time I post something, purchase my items as they come in. That'd be really cool. Post more and dig less would be something I need to do. I just need to get in the grind mode and just get more stuff listed constantly because it's such a bad thing. I know a lot of us do it, but just when you're sitting on money piles, it's just terrible. You just need to get it listed and make your money while you can.
Yeah, I've been really pushing people lately to list because I just see like people have entire rooms full of things that are unlisted, and I'm like, why are you out at the thrift store right now? What are you doing?
Yeah, I see. That's something I'm bad at, I guess. I really need to work on. I guess just me being younger and just wanting to pick so bad. And every morning when I wake up, I'm like, oh, I could, you know, list some of these items. But that's why I haven't been as thrifting as much lately because it's really been my goal to sit my ass in this chair and just get some stuff listed.
What is your goal? Do you like a daily? Do you list every day? What is your goal with listing?
I try. Well, see, that's what I'm trying to do because I know how a lot of people think. You know, the more you list, it gets you more exposure, to get your listing up top and everything like that. So I haven't been doing that. Normally, what my listing was is I would just sit down all day, drink cups of coffee, list like 100 items. But now I'm trying to spread it out. Anytime I bring new bags in and my bins besides my desk starts filling up, I'm trying to. Anytime I bring new items in, this bin starts to fill up list like every day. So I constantly have that new items listed on my stores. So that's something I'm trying to do for sure because I know that definitely works.
Yeah, Hazelheart's Vintage said that she was a skeptic. She didn't believe it. And then she started listing every day, and her numbers have been insane. She's only listing like 10, 15 items a day, and she had like a $600 day last week.
That's awesome. Good for you. See, you're giving me motivation just by saying that I know I need to list every single day.
Just get up, list 5 things, and then go shopping. Like, don't let her, go shopping and then come home and list 5 things,
Yeah.
5 things takes an hour.
Yeah, 5 things doesn't take any time. I mean, I can bust out some. If it's hats, because I pretty much say a lot of the same things in my hat listings, like the snap is in good condition, hat will be shipped in a box, embroidered logos are in good condition. I'll note if it has a flaw of any kind, but I can bang out 20 hats in, 45 minutes an hour.
What happens, like, people get some mentality that they have to list everything that they have until they avoid it super hard. So I'm always telling people, like, just list a couple things every day, and it's going to, like, drastically improve yourselves.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that. So thank you for giving me more motivation to not list 50 items and 100 items at a time and try to list every single day 10, because I know that's what I need to be doing, but sometimes I still don't listen to my own advice.
Look, I'm not going to give you too much guff because when I was 23, I was not anywhere near what you're doing. So.
Oh, I appreciate it. Like I said, I was stoked to be the youngest guest on your YouTube channel. I feel like.
Does your girlfriend? Does she do eBay with you, or does she have like a full-time job outside the house?
She's going to school. She doesn't. I mean, she helps me out with some stuff with eBay, but mostly she works her job and she has a phone call job and she's going to school, so she doesn't really help me with eBay as much as she helps, but just not too much. Yeah. My mom's watching this and she just texted me and said, "Your mom tells you to list." Yeah, you do tell me to list.
Oh my gosh! Hi. I love your mom. Are you serious? Your mom's the best.
Yeah.
Sorry, the chat is moving really fast because there's a ton of people watching right now. Someone asked, are you on YouTube, or are you planning on being on YouTube?
I don't know. This is my first time on YouTube. If you guys like me, maybe I'll start making some YouTube videos or something. I need to do something like that for sure. I just haven't really thought about it. I have before. I wanted to do get like some thrift store haul videos and some live action videos going, but I don't know. I'm really not sure. I'll think about. I'm definitely considering it though.
Oh, look at it. There's a thumbs up button, and if you like him and you want him to make videos, you can thumbs up this video and let him know.
I have some things I could say that a lot of people pass up, but I don't know.
Yeah, people are saying they like you.
My girlfriend used to have blue hair too, actually. Speak of it, she used to have her hair dyed blue for like 6 months.
What? That's awesome.
Yeah, I know you spend like 4 hours at the hair salon when you get yours done, because anytime she would go to the hair salon, it'd be like an all-day thing, and I'd be like, "You just spent $200 and some odd on your hair."
Okay, this is totally different. Like so once I go to the hair salon downtown, and it's in the same building as a hotel, and so I always just valet park my car because parking downtown sucks. And I was gone for like 10 hours one time because we were doing like a complete like color. It was a whole process. It was like 3 different processes. And then I came home and the valet ticket was in the window, and Joe got in the car and he was like, so I don't know what to say right now. Why is there like a hotel valet ticket and you were gone for like a really long time? And I was like, oh no.
Yeah, I know all about the hair thing. Trust me, Addie. Just she's dreading her hair right now because it hasn't been dyed in a little bit, and she's like, "Oh, you can see my roots," and I know how it goes.
You and Joe could talk about that for sure. What was I? Somebody saying, "Oh, Periscope." Do you do like Periscope or anything like that?
I don't. Like I said, follow me on Instagram for sure. I try to be somewhat active on there. If you don't follow me on my Instagram account at PickingVintage, I definitely try to post some content on there. So
You don't just post content though. You're very active. I see you like commenting and helping people out all the time too.
yeah, I definitely try to help people out. If they like post something they don't know about, then
That's awesome. Well, I think that we're just about at the hour. Any last minute tips?
every guy that joined and everything. How's Des doing, by the way? I just saw someone. Is he better?
He's good. He stayed home today from school, but he had like a ear infection, and it was really hard. He doesn't recognize pain until the pain is really extreme. So like when he woke up, he was like screaming and like uncontrollable. Like it was really bad. So we had to like rush him over to the ER, and he got medicine, and it finally is getting better today. I think he slept all day today. So hopefully tomorrow he'll go back to school.
Yeah, but thank you for everyone that joined and listened to me rant. I appreciate it. Maybe I will think about, maybe starting a YouTube channel or a Periscope or something like that. But like I said, if you don't follow me on Instagram, I try to help out others on there and stay active. So thank you, Nicole, for having me. I really appreciate it as well. Being a guest was an honor. I feel like hey, Nicole wanted me on her show. I must be someone.
I know. Bad. Oh my gosh, I just knocked all my stuff. Okay, where can people find you last time?
I posted I'll post I guess I could send you the link to my Etsy store if some people wanted to look at some of the items I had for sale on there. And yeah,
I put your Instagram name in the bio box below, so you guys can actually see that right now and follow him on Instagram. That's going to be the best way to reach out to him if you have questions or you want to reach out to him for any reason. The DM box on Instagram is great.
Yep, Instagram is definitely. I try to check my DMs and get back to whoever DMs me. So if you send me a DM, it might take me a few hours to get back, but I try to get back to everyone that I get. So
I went through my DMs last night, and I was like 2 weeks out on some of my questions.
It takes a while, especially I'm sure I don't get anywhere near as many as you do. You have like 14,000 followers. I think I have like 2,500 or 2,600, but
it just takes time, yeah.
Yeah, just you've been on there. You've done so much for the Instagram community too that it's crazy. So everyone give a round of applause for Nicole. She kills it on Instagram. But.
Oh, thank you. It's just fun. We all need somewhere to like hang out at, All right, so that wraps it up, though, you guys. Thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Thank you, guys.
And we will talk again soon.